Hi, today I'm going to talk about content management on your university website. There's a fairly simple process to follow. Basically starts with requests that come in, content gets created and managed, and eventually retired. The request phase involves ownership. There needs to be a content owner for all the content that's going to be created. The content owner needs to be responsible for the content. There also needs to be justification for the content and for the project purpose, and resources need to be committed to create the content, maintain it, and do what else needs to be done. And there should always be success criteria defined for any project with software development and creating new content for a website. So in the request phase, the first steps are to establish ownership and justification. This can be done by creating an online form where you would collect your metadata. So someone comes in and requests new content to be created for the website. This online form can get the name of the person, their department, and also the reason for wanting to create this content. So with this online form, you can collect your data that will tell you who the owner is and the purpose for the content. Secondly, there needs to be resources to support this project. The staffing needs to have experience in the kind of skills that you would need to create content, whether that's design skills or writing skills, whatever it is. There needs to be that kind of background in your staff and the staff of the content owner. And the staff needs to be available throughout the project's duration. A lot of times what happens is there's competing priorities, especially in a big university or any big organization. So the content owner needs to commit to having the right resources available throughout the project. And there needs to be success criteria defined, whether it's to, if it's expected that this new content is going to make things easier for the content creators, or there's going to be some kind of time management workflow efficiency. Maybe the content is supposed to attract more site visitors or increase higher the number of applications that come through, or maybe alumni donations. Whatever it is, it should be defined. So it's a good barometer to go back to. Second phase is the create phase, and obviously this is where the content gets created, but there's also some other important steps that need to happen in this phase. There needs to be viewing filters assigned to the content, so the content gets to the people who care about it the most. And there also needs to be some sort of workflow established for the content as it moves through the pipeline. Especially who's going to approve the content before it gets published. So in defining access on your for your content, you can do this right in the content management system. So for example, if content X gets created and submitted to the content management system, here is where you can define, your owners can define who should have access to that content. Because a lot of times there's so much information and data that's available that you will overwhelm everyone that works at the university or any organization with too much content easily if there's not some sort of filters built in. There also should be content approvers, and this can also be done right in the content management system. So when new content gets submitted for approval, the appropriate owner or whoever the owner assigned to approve the content can go through their checklist of things that the criteria that the content needs to meet, such as editorial requirements or even legal requirements. Whatever it is, there should be an approver role to make sure that the content's appropriate before it gets uploaded to the site, published to the site. The third phase is the manage phase. And this is basically maintaining ownership, like we established in the request phase. We had an owner. We just need to make sure there's always an owner of the content, so the content doesn't get orphaned eventually on the site. So this is basically checking ownership and reassigning content to new owners as necessary. This can also be done in your content management system. So the theme here is to use technology as much as possible to facilitate this process. And it's very easy to do in the content management systems that are available today. So in your CMS, you can run quarterly reports and see make sure that there's still owners assigned to each piece of content that's on the website. And if there's no longer a content owner, then that content needs to be reassigned to someone. And this can happen fairly regularly if you have turnover in the department or if people leave the company or the university. The last phase is the retire phase, and this is maintaining the content on the site, making sure that it's still valuable, making sure that it's used, and if it's not, it needs to be removed. So this maintenance of content, this diagram here is basically the life cycle of content on a website. The content gets published. It should stay valuable and used regularly. If it's not, in your regular checks, you see that it's not, and it's old and irrelevant, that content should be removed, and then eventually new content is uploaded. So to conclude, this process is fairly simple to follow, and it will keep your website's content repository clean and easy to search on.